Okay, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to League of Legends Rising Stars Series Season 2 Tournament. This is what, the second round? The best of threes?
It sure is. We've got an exciting match between the POHO Pimps, who have been doing relatively well in the qualifiers, versus 2-1 Gaming, who is actually in the top 4 and received a bye. So they have not played this weekend, but we're looking to see if they can pull out their strong lineup once again.
Yep, so bands coming out here. Looks like coming out of POHO Pimps, we'll be seeing Jace, Blitzcrank, and Kennen banned out. And over for the side of Tourney Gaming, we have Thresh, Shogath, and Shen. So what do you think about those bans?
Man, pretty standard to see Thresh and Blitz banned out. I know that we didn't see very much general bans within the last round on this stream, but these are very general indeed. We got Thresh and Blitzcrank, which are two very general bans, as I'm not sure that either of the teams play those.
Yeah, I definitely know Kennen has been seeing a little bit of a comeback. Played a little bit in OGN. Definitely coming back. He's been getting really popular, especially in the top lane. He has a lot of harassing throughout. But this first pick will be Caitlyn, who just is an AD carry that has pretty much no bad matchups for her. She has such long range, so much poke potential. However, when it comes to the side of ability, she doesn't have that much to offer when it comes to the team fights, because all she wants to do is auto attack. So I guess we'll be seeing how that works out. Just seeing this this Caitlyn pick, most likely we'll be seeing some pokey support like Lulu, especially Lulu is just absolutely terrifying to see with the Caitlyn.
Definitely, and if they're able to pick up Sona here, even more terrifying. They have a lot of sustain on POHO's side, and they might be able to perhaps out-sustain Caitlyn's poke as long as they don't pick up that terrifying Lulu that you spoke of.
Yep, and these next two picks, Nautilus and Sona. Sona has great team fight potential. Same thing for Nautilus. Nautilus can be a huge tanky front line and just soak up a lot of damage, as well as having lots and lots of CC. Sona just able to add on more CC to that, as well as being a very harassy, as well as sustain support. So I actually like the pick coming out against Caitlyn for the bottom lane, just because she can heal up her AD carry, as well as damage Caitlyn back, potentially with the Hymn Veiler that she has.
Yeah,
and oh man, if she picks a Teemo, if this guy picks a Teemo, I'm gonna cry.
Well, I think that Sona and Nautilus are a really good combo. You've got the weak, squishy Sona, but the Nautilus to take the front lines, and Sona to follow up with that CC. Really strong combination, even though they're probably not going to be laning together.
Yeah, and wow, it looks like I think they're going completely against what I said here and pick up the Leona. And, this also works with Caitlyn, because Caitlyn does have quite a bit of burst potential. Oh no, she has a lot of damage. For one thing, she has a lot of poke that comes out of her. She has the extra damage that comes out of her passive headshot. And then that will help proc off of Leona's passive Sunlight, which gives, whoever she CCs or damages, I think it's gives them extra damage for attacks. I'm not sure how to phrase it correctly, but basically Leona will help Caitlyn do more damage. That's what will happen. And it'll be very interesting, because I guess the sort of works is going to be quite a bit of CC. Leona might have the issue of Caitlyn not being able to deliver on the damage, but I suppose we'll see. What do you think of the Akali pickup? I know actually there's more pickups going in. So Akali locked in, as well as Ezreal and Rumble. Let's go ahead and talk about Ezreal and Rumble being picked.
Yeah, Ezreal and Sona is a strong combination we used to see in Season 2, and it's great for League of Gap closers. Ezreal's gonna need that against Akali, and especially if they pick up Xin Zhao and Kha'Zix, which is a terrifying idea. Rumble is a really king of top lane, and I don't know if Vaporized or any of the other members of POHO are very specific to Rumble, but a lot of times when we see him in the LRSS, he just annihilates team fights with that AoE.
Yeah, and once again, there's just so much team fight coming out of this team. AoE on pretty much everybody coming out, as well as CC. Of course, most likely going to be seeing Blue Ezreal provide CC of his own with the AoE. So these next two picks, Xin Zhao and Riven, which is really interesting. Xin Zhao was sort of nerfed, and he's pretty iffy now.
Yeah, he was a really strong jungler, really good at ganking, really good at farming, really good all-around jungler. So we'll definitely see some early ganks with that, but I'm more scared to see the Riven. Riven's got a level 1 and 2 that is to be envied by everyone. So as long as Rumble is able to survive that early part of the laning phase, he'll probably be okay, but we could see some pretty dangerous level 2 fights and level 2 or 3 ganks coming from Xin Zhao and Riven together.
Yeah, Riven just having a really strong early lane should be able to take out Rumble pretty early just because he's pretty weak without the full combo, as well as not hitting that level 6, having that equalizer. So this next pick here will be the Kazakhs. Very strong AP middle, or not AP middle, AD caster middle assassin, most likely going middle, that is. He's just able to absolutely burst down people. He's going to be good at getting back to that Caitlyn because he can just leap, or he can turn on his ult spin, get to the back, leap on top of that Caitlyn, just take her out really quickly, and just completely burst her down. So I guess we'll see how that goes. There's quite a bit of appeal that can come out for Caitlyn, though, in form of Leona.
Yeah, definitely. I'm kind of interested in the team composition that we have going on on Tuguan. They have a lot of diving potential. They've got, the follow-up from Akali, Xin Zhao, the initiate with Leona, and Riven. But as for disengaging, not so much. So they're really going to have to go headlong into team fights with the confidence that they're going to come out on top. On the other hand, we have, on POHO's side, they have an opportunity to engage and disengage, but I'm not quite sure what they're going for with their team composition. Maybe just pokey between Ezreal, Kazakhs, and Rumble, staying out of fights as much as they can, and then when they actually have to engage, they've got a good front line between Nautilus and the dive with Kazakhs, but I'm kind of scared for their back line. And it looks like we can take a little bit of time to talk about the LRSS. We are splitting into 2 leagues, so we are just an opportunity for the average player to win and play in tournaments as well as a circuit actively. So you get to play on a team, you get to compete against other teams of equal skill levels because there is a skill cap, and then at the end of the season we have this awesome tournament. And this year the prizes for the tournament are off the hook. We have a very large $20 worth of RP to the first player and triumphant rise. But more importantly, first and second place will have the opportunity exclusively to scrim off against LCS participants, C9 as well as Velocity Esports. That's Cloud9 and Velocity Esports, ladies and gentlemen. Like, you have no idea. This is quite an exciting opportunity for all of us involved, and I think that it's going to go pretty well. So good luck to all of the teams in the tournament. We are going to get into our second round here shortly. It is double elimination, so these teams have not yet been eliminated, and they are going to have the chance to come back again if they lose. Meanwhile, so we have quite a bit of strong engage coming off on the side of Tuguan, but they really have a good opportunity to defend against dives as well. We have Riven and Leona who are going to be able to peel extremely well, and Xin Zhao to fling away. So I don't see a lot of diving coming off from POHO Pimps, but other than that, I think that they'll be okay.
Okay, well, so I was muted there, but I am back. Also, something interesting to note that I did notice before we got into the loading screen here is that I believe there's a teleport on the Riven, which is really interesting. Riven, really strong level 1, level 2. Surprised he doesn't go for an aggressive summoner spell instead going for that teleport. So I'll be interested to see how that is used when we get into game.
Definitely. That is a little bit aggressive of a summoner skill, but if it's used wisely, it really could go great. The only thing I'm worried about is a lot of times I'm seeing teams pick up teleport, but not really use it. Like, it's a situational pick for sure, but you have to know how to use it, and if you only pick it in the situations where you need it, you don't know how to use it properly. So I hope we see a teleport coming out, hopefully within the first 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah, and just looking over at these teams right now, do you think there'll be any invades going on at all?
That's definitely a good question. I think it's a little bit risky on both sides. Neither of them has a super strong level 1. We have the CC of Riven. I think she can stun, and Leona. So if anything, I think that we would see Tuan take a step into the jungle, but I'm not terribly familiar with Tuan and whether they're actually familiar with those type of tactics.
Yeah, and the thing is, for a lot of these champions, if they did go for kind of that CC ability first, example, or we're looking at this at 2-1 right now, just if they did go for that CC ability first, like, the biggest example would be Nas going for the Dredge line first, it's going to severely impact his jungle. Um, Pretty much no one else on this team actually has some form of hard CC. Riven, most likely just going to be going off with the Broken Wings to Q, and then she can dash a lot. And then Leona most likely going with either Zenith Blade or whatever Q is called that pulls out the stun and the auto attack. Depends on which one. Also, Caitlyn has great early game damage, has such long range. She puts out the trap, will be really nice. So I guess we'll see, but I would definitely give the level 1 in favor of POHO Pimps, as you were saying.
Yeah,
So almost loaded in here. What were you going to say? Sorry about that.
yeah, but I mean, you're completely right. 2-1 has such an early game advantage if they just go to their lanes. Riven's got level 1 or 2,
Oh,
especially.
wait. Is POHO Pimps blue team or Tuan?
Uh, 2-1 is blue team.
Tuan blue team? Whoops.
Yeah,
I had it
so
wrong.
that's funny. Riven has that strong level 1 or 2, especially if she's able to pick up something like Wolves. Leona is a really strong 2, 3, 4. Zhao can really get some early ganks off early, so that invade might set them back more than they would get if they were to just go to lane and play safe.
Yep, so we have gotten into game here. We're seeing what everybody goes for. This is the second round of Season 2 tournament. Of course, we did kind of go over the prizes before, so I have to go through that now anyway. So, going for these items here, looks like for the AD carries, Kaylin starting off with that very popular Doran's Blade Star. As you'll surprisingly going for that long sword, something that has not been seen too much. It was really popular early Season 2, and then everyone was like, Doran's Blade is so much better. And so everybody followed with that.
Definitely, definitely.
These other few items, like Ribbon actually starting off with the Rejuvenation Bead, so nothing with the early aggression sights of her as like a Doran's Blade or a Longsword or a Forward Pot, nothing like that. Cloth Armor for that Rumble, very smart start against Ribbon, any AD champions really. But there's the Shetties for the junglers. Mid lane Akali actually going for that Cloth Armor, which of course is because she is against Kha'Zix, which can actually absolutely burst her down. Kha'Zix himself going for that Fairy Charm, most likely going to be building into an early tier of the Goddess.
Yeah, and we actually see Akali picking up Cloth Armor versus Kha'Zix. Probably a good choice because of that early damage. Definitely a good choice against that early damage. Akali, she has some potential in the early levels, but she really gains her strength at 6, and Kha'Zix is a little bit different than that, really has some potential all throughout the levels, so it's not a surprise that she went the safe route with that sustain option.
And so just looks like normal jungle sets. So everybody here, of course, will be seeing Kaylin Leona starting off with those golems down at bottom lane. Taking a very big chunk of damage from those. However, should be okay. She has quite a few health potions to chug down after that. Also has the Rejuvenation Bead to heal up. Looks like just pretty much normal. Surprised not to see any of the small campsites that I've seen a lot of just organized play where they go and they start off with wraiths, or this is the solo lane that is like the red team will start off with wraiths, the blue team would start off with wolves, and the jungle will start off with red. Just to to get those early experience points there. Although just the only thing we're going to be seeing from that is going to be those golems down for bottom lane. And of course, just hitting the level 2 really early is pretty nice for Caitlyn. Can throw out those traps. Also has a Piltover Peacemaker now, can really just poke down the Ezreal.
Yeah, and they really need to do something with it, though. Leona is pretty strong at level 2. And, especially versus the sustain of Sona. They're going to have to get something done sooner rather than later before Sona can just heal up their constant poke damage. or their all-in engage, because Sona's ultimate is definitely a good way to stop an all-in engage.
Yeah, just Leona with the early CC. She can really rip the Stunner, who has such low health right now. She's also still level 1. You'd definitely be seeing just, you know, the Zonian could come out here. I guess we'll see how that happens. It's like everywhere else, Kha'Zix actually has really nice CS compared to this Akali. Akali just getting not able to farm at all versus the Kha'Zix here.
Yeah, and down bottom, I want to say there definitely should be some zoning going on. Caitlyn and Leona have a clear advantage throughout these beginning levels and should be utilizing it a little bit more against Ezreal and Sona. But if they give them the opportunity to just farm up, they're just going to be able to just stay in the game too well. And we do see a large wave pushing here towards Ezreal's turret, so they're actually even in CS about. It'll mainly just depend on how well Ezreal is able to farm under that turret.
Yeah, so they're really pushing on this bottom lane. Caitlyn has taken a bit of the CS lead here. Top lane just really passive being played out by Riven, which, oh no, maybe not. Going in for the damage here, actually really bullying out this Rumble. Looks like Rumble, however, is doing a pretty fine job of CSing. He has a few potions to take, check down there, just starting off with that Cloudfire, of course. Really nice. It looks like Xin Zhao is poised around the middle, but the lane is pushing towards Kha'Zix's side.
Yeah, and I want to say that that was a great E on Ezreal's part. That was a really good time, I was going to say, for Caitlyn and Leona to engage. They're at a good spot. It is just outside the turret, so they'd have to get something done pretty quick, but unfortunately it looks like Sosona's sustain is just too much, and that Fairy Charm is just going to make this more and more of a problem, because
oh, bottom lane, yeah, they're really trading it up here, but Sosona's doing a really good job of getting in there and just putting a lot of damage out onto that Caitlyn. Of course, she is maxing out the Arya Perseverance, which hits her heal first, so just lots of heals coming out for Ezreal, as well as giving him the passive for more armor and MR, which is really useful. Like, unless he steps on those traps, Zenith would actually bring Leona right into that tower there, but she doesn't take too much damage, had that W on herself, and Ezreal's just getting really poked down here. However, starting off with those 2 health potions does give him more sustain, as well as the W coming out of Sona. So in the overall, I think they're going to be able to out-sustain this bottom lane.
Yeah, definitely. Their sustain is pretty powerful, and it seems like Safisan is a little bit hesitant to go in when the good plays are up for available. Now that the lane is resetting, we might see that change just a little bit, but I'm not expecting anything too crazy. We do have a miss on that Zenith Blade, but a stun goes down onto Ezreal, and they're just kind of chilling here.
And Nas coming in here, but I don't think he can really do too much. Random dredge line, he's still walking throughout this lane. I really don't think he can do that much. And I'll probably just be exiting there. Sort of an awkward game, just because of how slow Nautilus is. Can't really go through that tri-bush, like behind the tower. Not the best ganking around. So 6 minutes in here, so far just no ganks coming out here. You know, I would usually expect these are really aggressive junglers. They both have gap closers. They both have CC that can get onto the any champion. Really, I'm just really surprised to not see any early aggression coming out from these 2 junglers.
Yeah, it seems like up top, for example, Riven lost her early game advantage, wasn't able to get any kills onto Rumble, and he is falling behind in CS, but he's just kind of hanging in there right now. Meanwhile, we've got some excellent ward coverage, so that might be attributing a little bit to the lack of aggression on the jungler's part. We don't have a lot of pinks around the map, and they are just mainly playing it safe, with the exception of bot lane, which is pushing up so far.
Yeah, they're really pushing down under this tower as I just keep stepping on these traps. Really nice placement coming off from Caitlyn. Those can be such a bother in the lane. Looking over at builds, haven't picked up just a bit. We do see lots of damage coming out of this Kha'Zix here. For one thing, when we got Tier, the guys actually top lane Zinzao coming in for the gank. Flash away from the Rumble, the slow coming out. Looks like they will go ahead and back off Rumble. getting pretty low from that gang. Looks like he wants to hang around in lane. Still has two health potions left, just took one. Kha'Zix picking up that blue buff, has that tier. The goddess can build up stacks on that. A really nice item on Kha'Zix. And he actually has come down to this bottom lane to see what he can do, but looks like he's potentially going around. Or nope, looks like just going back to his lane there.
So
Akali has picked up the Seeker's Arm Guard, just going for that defensive build.
Rumble is kind of just staying there and farming, but he's kind of hurting himself. He's down half farm, and he probably needed to take that opportunity to go back because the wave was so pushed up. The aggression from Riven just means that he's going to keep taking that damage, not going to be able to farm effectively when he could have probably picked up an item to maybe help him out a little bit.
Bottom lane damage coming out. Ezreal getting taken really low here. Here comes Ace in the hole. Sona's going to be able to block that one. And that is not going to be the first one. So, this early aggression, just the aggression coming out of Kayla and Leona is just really taking down this bottom lane. Almost took them out there. They were on that Ezreal's on such low health. Ezreal does go back, however, picks up Spear at the other Lizard, of course, going for that blue build. However, just look at Caitlyn, she's 30 CS ahead of him, so that's pretty much 2 kills there. That tower is almost gone. Actually, mid lane, Zinzao coming in for the gank, putting on the dash. Kha'Zix goes ahead, uses his ultimate though. Nas coming here, Dredge is not able to hit. Void Spikes comes out, and looks like they'll just disengage after that one. But Caitlyn's going back. I'll be really interested to see what she picks up, because she has a lot of gold to spend.
Definitely. I would expect her to pick up at least an early BF sword. And it looks like she is and has plenty to spare for boots, which is going to really impact that bottom lane even more. With Ezreal going blue, he's not really going to have anything damage-wise. He's going to have a lot of utility, but I don't think that's what they need right now. You know, they're pushed up against their turret. They need to be able to make trades effectively. They're not escaping or running away or anything like that. They've definitely gotten themselves into safe territory, and they just need to be able to push better.
Yeah, and I'll be interested to see if he actually goes for the full blue build, which includes like things like Bladed and King and whatnot, or if he goes for a bit of the change blue builds, because we've seen a few variations. Like I believe Mega Zero was the one that went with a Bloodthirsty blue build. So there can be differences in like to adapt to the situations in these games, because they're just looking over at these teams. There won't be too much health. I mean, they'll be probably looking over the team for T1 Gaming. Probably health coming out from Zinzao to be the heavy tank. Probably not too much coming off. And actually, bottom lane, the ultimate does come down there. Nice crescendo first one, actually going over to the Ezreal. Now Leona trying to get onto him. Exhaust goes out onto Leona, though. Ezreal's trying to get out of this one. Will be going down. Leona picks up that kill. Will Sona be able to finish her off, though? Still trying to chase after this one. She does not have a Moonspeed. Flashes in there. It's just one more auto attack, but there's a teleport actually coming out from the Riven, coming in behind, putting off the stun. And now Leona turned around, and the kill will be going with to Riven. So there's the use of the teleport that we didn't want to see. And there's going to be a kill given over to Riven.
Oh man, that was definitely an exciting play there. You saw we have some aggression from here coming off on Riven Nautilus, but I was saying that Sona flashed and stayed in position and wasn't able to Q, kind of threw the kill to Leona. She was dead anyway from the teleport from Riven, so she had probably chased just a little bit too far, but those lucrative health bars, I mean, sometimes you just can't ignore them.
Yeah, just that bottom lane though, it was a great crescendo. Ezreal was on the sliver of health there. Crescendo came out, stopped the Caitlyn from putting up any more damage. Ezreal was able to finish her off with a Mystic Shot. And then they just able to turn that one around. Of course, Ezreal almost went down there, was able to survive through a few of Leona's auto attacks. But still they were able to get through that one. And it was just really well done by the bottom lane of POHO Pins, except until that Riven did teleport down there, which is really good use of that summoner spell. But overall, just looking over at the lane, it does, however, still go in favor a little bit, or at least helps out Ezreal a little bit, just by giving him the extra gold from the First Blood. Was able to pick up boots as well as an amplifying tome, and overall it helps the bottom lane. But up at top lane, it's gonna be an extremely different story, as Riven was able to pick up a kill. And now has a Brutalizer, Vampiric Scepter, and that one item, no Magic Mantle.
Yeah, definitely. It's unfortunate for top lane. Rumble was a little bit behind, but he was still kind of in the game. But with this, it has the potential to snowball. And that's why we might actually see some roaming going on, hopefully. If Riven is able to force Rumble to the turret, he can make an impact onto mid lane, which would be a great opportunity for Akali to pick up a kill onto Kha'Zix.
Yeah, mid lane flashed away from the dredge line there. Akali almost got caught out there to attempt to get coming out from the now. So he's going to be going around, throwing off the ward into those raids. It's a really nice ward to place. You can see one of the junglers doing the raid, see if they're heading down the bottom lane or the red buff, or heading over to mid lane for the gank. However, we'll be seeing Nas coming down to bottom lane, but I do believe they predicted that since I did see him out there, as well as I believe he passed through that tri-brush ward, so able to get out of there. Not gonna get caught.
And top lane, we have a forced flash out from Rumble. Riven flashes over and tries to make the kill, but it's just not enough damage, and she actually blows her ultimate on that. Probably not a big deal because Rumble is forced out of lane or forced to stay and take a chance, but I'd like to see something from Xin Zhao, maybe a dive up top if he's able to make it up there. Other than that, at bottom lane, the ward coverage has just been too good. Neither team is picking up pink wards. Neither team wants to allow that gank to come in, and it's more or less been a farm fest.
Yeah, pretty much 93 to 66 for that top lane there. About 30 CS ahead up top. Down in this bottom lane, 20 CS ahead for Caitlyn. And then mid lane is actually a CS difference too, about 30 there. So lots of CS differences coming out. And that as well as the added on kill lead coming out for Tuguan Gaming. They are taking a bit of a gold here, about like 1.3k. I don't even want to do the math. But so they do have a bit of a goal lead ahead. Of course, it's just early game. Doesn't matter too much just yet. And I guess we'll see what happens. If they're able to utilize this, potentially we'll be seeing, like a dragon coming up soon, because 14 minutes in here, no dragons contested yet, no towers have been taken out, bottom tower is pretty low. But actually, there is the gank coming off onto bottom lane, double gank coming off from Nas and Kha'Zix. There's Crescendo coming off, going to be able to get onto Leona, and Kha'Zix is able to pick up that kill. Looks like Caitlyn was able to get under a tower, but with that Leona down, looks like there is going to be the dragon start.
Man, yeah, unfortunately Leona wanted to get a ward down on there, but caught out just a little bit. It was good to get a pink down, but not the right timing for that, considering how many people were missing and how close the POHO pimps were to that location. So
there's the first dragon coming out there, and they not had to go just yet. They actually they're behind gold by about 100, 200 here, just slightly under in gold right now.
And actually, amazingly enough, despite the farm difference in bottom lane, Ezreal got that first blood, and he's been keeping up pretty well in gold, which is really going to be great because late game, they're going to need an AD carry.
Yeah, and wow, really early last whisper started from this Kha'Zix. He really wants to take down the armor that's coming out from Akali bottom lane. Ezreal getting really aggressive. However, he does not have he does not have any mana, so really cannot put off any of his ever so important spells there.
Yeah, the problem is that the ward coverage coming off from Tuguan is just good enough for them to stay in there and keep poking and, keep Caitlyn in that lane despite being so low.
Yeah, she did go for that early BS, but was lucky for the Infinity Badge. Caitlyn's love to do that. Gives her so much extra damage on her auto attacks. Most likely going for that unless she does want to go for more sustain, when she could pick up a Bloodthirster. Just going back now, so we'll see what she does pick up. Mid lane. That Nas is holding mid lane for quite a while. Looks like Kha'Zix is coming back in there now. Top lane, just the damage coming in onto Rumble. Rumble's really just getting bullied out here.
Definitely, and it looks like Rumble is really going to be shut down for this game, unfortunately, which might have a really big impact on team fights for POHO pimps, because they don't really have anything that stands out right now as far as damage goes. They're gonna need more damage, and if Ezreal goes blue Ezreal, then I don't know if we're going to be seeing that.
Yeah, top lane does so much hitting. Actually, there goes the depth charge coming out from that Nas. Equalizer wasn't able to land. However, Kha'Zix is getting in here with the lead, but the Rumble did go down. Riven was able to pick that one up. Kazakh's got in there, picked up the kill onto Riven, 1-for-1 trade. Probably a bit of a mistake for Rumble to go in there at such low health.
Yeah, that was, I mean, Rumble's been sticking around just a little bit too long. The diving potential, as I said in Team Select, coming off from Tuguan is immense, and it's amazing that we've waited this long.
Bama and Crescendo actually went out onto that Caitlyn, Leona jumping onto Ezreal here, Sona being over in the front, putting up the damage. She's getting pretty low herself. The auto attacks in Caitlyn a little bit too strong, but he won't be going down. Alright, two-shot barrage comes across, wasn't able to hit anybody here. And there's the Ace coming out, the barrier coming out. Ezreal's going to be able to live, and it looks like Kazakhstan now is coming in from the back. There is a very strong potential for a double kill to come up here. Xenoblade not going to hit anything. Kazakhstan leaps in there, going for Leona, who's likely going to pick that one up. The Judge Hand does come out from Nas, picks up the kill. Kazakhstan able to get another kill for himself. He is now 3-0. Looks like Killen was able to back, but that Riven was in a warded brush, getting leaped on by the Kazakhstan. Riven putting up damage herself, has to flash over this wall, and looks like she will be safe.
Oh man, we actually saw Riven teleport in on that ward.
Yeah.
I don't know that that was quite the right step. She could have teleported down a little closer to Leona, maybe bring Caitlyn back into the fight and done something, but unfortunately we lost teleport and a flash and almost a kill there because she teleported in to maybe the wrong place.
Yeah, because of that, Rumble is able to push up this top lane. He's going to be able to get quite a bit of CS from that, as well as this top lane actually might be going down this this tower here. We'll be able to even out the tower count. Minions going to go ahead and finish that one off. Looks like Akali diving it onto Rumble, putting off lots of damage. Rumble's just not having the best of times here. Going for Hunting guys in the Sorcerer's Shoes for that for the magic penetration there, as well as having that defensive item, which is the Seeker's Arm Guard.
Definitely, and I kind of feel like Rumble might have said, okay, you know, I'm obviously not the star of this game. It's time to take this turret. We need to start gaining some map control. We need to start pushing things forward a little bit more.
Yeah, they actually went for home guard boots, so he really wants to stay in that top lane there. Able to get back to his lane really quickly, not gonna be able to stop that Riven from pushing up. So it looks like Caitlyn actually went for his sustain. I know top lane, gank coming off from Nautilus. Drejan will be able to hit, and the stun coming off from Riven, but there's the depth charge putting off everything to try and get her, but she has so much mobility, really trying to get out of this one. The equalizer's not up, she has so many dashes, just using those so well to get out of there. It looks like Akali's going to be coming up, but the Drejan hits once again. They're still going in onto her, she's super low. Equalizer does finally come down, and Riven is taking out Rumble, picking up the kill. Now they're chasing after Akali, who is able to get under the safety of her tower, but so much CC coming out from Nautilus and Rumble, just able to take out Riven there, even through all the dashes, and now it's a blue buff steal.
Yeah, and I almost feel like Akali probably shouldn't have interfered with that, and Xin maybe should have showed up a little bit sooner and they could have turned that around, but other than that, Akali going in when Riven was dead was quite risky. I'm glad she made it out, but I think she had to burn a summoner for that.
Yep, had to use the flash to get out of that one, so not gonna be able to have the flash. Of course, she has the other dash, but removes a lot of her mobility. So it looks like lots of grouping up in the mid lane here, and potentially going down. I'm not too sure when the dragon is gonna come up, but that could be a point of contest. And Judge, I'm being hit onto that kill. Nice on the cover net to actually avoid getting taken down from there. But it looks like dragon is up, and we're gonna be seeing POHO Pimps try to head down the stun on that.
I want to see the awesome team fighting potential here at Tuguan, but oh no, Xin gets caught by Nautilus.
Yeah, and there's Crescendo coming off. Lots of people hit by that when they're diving in onto that one. The Kali is taking out. Rumble went down, chasing after Ezra, who's super low, but Kazakh's with the double kill. He's still alive, has to leave, goes back in, picks up the triple kill, will be finally taken out by this Caitlyn, who's been able to auto-attack this whole fight. Nice barrier coming out from Ezreal, turns everyone around, picks up the kill. Overall, a 4-for-2 team fight in favor of the POHO Pimps there. And just Kazakh's kill potential is way too strong there. Picked up a triple kill from that. And now you're 6-1, and there is the Dragon going to be taken out. POHO Pimps just really stacking up the gold lead for themselves.
Holy cow, yes. Talk about a game-changing fight. So we went from roughly even teams to now a clear lead coming off on the POHO Pimps, and I feel like it's because Caitlyn maybe was in there a little too deep, a little too long. They had a bad engage. Zinzao was low. You know, he got caught by Nautilus, and it was a dangerous team fight to be going all the way as far as they can just for Azrael.
Yeah, but looks like bottom of the tower will be taken down. So another tie coming out from them. They have a 3,000 gold lead for POHO Pimps, which is really nice for them. They'll be able to go back and pick up a few items. I suppose we'll see what they go ahead and go for. It's quite a bit of gold on Ezreal as well as Sona. So Ezreal finishes up the Iceborne Gauntlet. Really interesting to see him finish that up so early. He's losing a lot of damage by doing this, but he's gaining a lot of teamfight utility as well as kiting. He has that soul that can come out from him, but he's just losing so much damage by going with the Iceborne Gauntlet first. I feel like we'll see the effect in the next team fight. The thing is, he doesn't need that much damage because Kha'Zix 6-1 is absolutely bursting people down.
Yeah, and definitely. That's probably why we see the tankiness coming off of Rumble just a little bit here.
Yeah, going for the giant spell most likely with the Rise Crystal Scepter, which is a great item, just has so much slow, and they're really bullying up CC for the team. And look at that, Kha'Zix just jumping in there, taking out Riven to half health. Flash Crescendo does it to people, but it's under the tower. Sona picking up the kill on Riven. Akali going down to Rumble. Zinzao and Luna trying to get on into this one, but the whole team of POHO Pimps have shown up. And now Leona as well as Zinzao are down at half health, and looks like this tower will be going down. Zinzao getting gone into there, but getting in way more trouble. Kha'Zix picking up the kill, jumping in, and picks up the double kill. And just really outstanding play coming out from POHO Pimps. They're really working as a team right now. They're just going in their full 5, and just the kill potential from Kha'Zix is just absolutely amazing here. And Caitlyn gonna get caught by the dredge on. Here it comes out for her, but there's no way she's getting out of that one. Ace Ezreal picking up that kill.
Haha, definitely. And if you guys saw that, we had someone go in to tank the turret for POHO Pimps, and Kittens actually flash ulted perfectly and was able to take just enough damage, get in there to turn that team fight around. An excellent dive, an unexpected one at that on my part, but a great push. So at this point, the lead on the POHO Pimps is enormous. They're going to need to keep pushing through it, or else they're going to give Tiguan the opportunity to come back. They could farm up, and they could come back into this, because POHO Pimps really has all their eggs in one basket. It's Kha'Zix or nothing. It's if they get that kill on Kha'Zix, that is going to be their opportunity to shine.
Yeah, and just looking over at Tiguan Gaming, and just look at the team, they have so much mobility on them that they really could, potentially use that and pick off somebody. Because the dashes that can come out of Riven and Kali can just get onto somebody. So they do have that potential to pick off something, but they really have to be careful with that Kha'Zix, because he leaped in there, took them on half health. I'm like, okay, well, they're gonna be able to pick up that kill later. They'll probably just push down the tower. Rumble threw off the equalizer, sudden flash crescendo, just turned that catching out 2 people into a full ace for POHO Pimps, and that's just Tiguan POHO Pimps picking up the full ace, and that's just them just really grouping up and playing as a team there, and they'll probably just keep on grouping up, because that's how they'll just snowball the league. Looks like Rumble hanging around here, around this blue buff. Really risky play by him, just being out there all by himself, but his team is coming to back him up.
And he's blatantly playing pretty aggressively, so that's why we see Tiguan backing off here. This is really going to come down to ward coverage. I mean, if you catch either member of the other team out, then it's going to be a really good opportunity to make a play. If you catch Kha'Zix, like he's lingering around here, then that's going to be a shot for Tiguan. And if you catch anybody from Tiguan, it's going to be almost GG for POHO Pimps.
Yeah, and actually, this is going to be the Baron start coming out of POHO Pimps. They're feeling really confident in themselves to go for this Baron. Nobody on Tiguan is down, and looks like Tiguan are pretty much immediately aware of this one. They didn't even have too many wards. I guess they can't see the Baron. They will be going in. The equalizer is dropped down and backing off that Baron. Crescendo comes across. Solar Player is able to hit a lot of people. McCullough goes down to the Ezreal. Riven Ultra able to pick up the Kha'Zix. Leona taking down Sona. A double kill coming off from Riven, picking up Rumble. And that's 4 for 1 so far. They're still chasing after Ezreal. Looks like he does have that Iceborne Gauntlet, but that was a beautiful solar flare coming out of Leona. It stunned out so many people, and Riven was just able to follow up with their Wind Slash, and they were able to win out that team fight.
Oh my god, tell me about it. We had POHO Pimps completely blow up Akali, and Ezreal got a beautiful ultimate off, but the CC was just too much, and the AoE and PL were just, I mean, it could not be combated with, obviously.
Yeah, and that's just one of the things. Oh wow, that Ezreal actually sniping off that Leona. I believe that was the AoE coming out of Iceborne Gauntlet.
Yeah,
I'm not too sure with the damage. Does it do damage? Yeah, it does a bit of damage.
Yeah, just a tiny bit. And Leona was sticking around there. It was a little bit audacious play on her part. And we might even lose Zhao here because Ezreal is just a monster. He is now fed as well, and that's really the advantage that they needed. Blue Ezreal, kind of utility-based, but if he gets fed, I mean, that's a good deal.
Yeah, but that was just just going back to that Baron team fight. That was just a great fight coming out of 2-1 Gaming. Leona solo player hit so many people, and that's the thing is, when you go for that Baron, you really have to be careful because no matter how ahead you are, and actually going to be starting on another one here, but no matter how ahead you are, you really have to be careful, especially when there's still 5 people left on the enemy team. It's just, you know, there's especially with the team that they have for 2-1 Gaming, where they can just get in there. You know, they have a lot of AoE CC that can come out of them, and it can be really nice for them. So you really have to be careful when you go for these really large objectives, just because you know, you still could lose out in those team fights no matter how ahead you are. And they were starting on another Baron, but did back off of it. It might have gotten better just because a lot of people from 2-1 did have to go back, but they don't want to take the risk again because, you know, they kind of got 4-2'd the last time they went for it. So they just go ahead and settle for Dragon.
Yeah, and honestly, 2-1 is really working on building some of the important items that they're going to need to win these team fights. Among them, Frozen Heart and Randuin's, which I believe Zhao working.
Oh, Flash Crescendo coming off, not going to be anybody here, but Kha'Zix still jumping in. Depth Charge coming off onto Akali. Nice solo player stopping the Kha'Zix. But there is the Shredder's Reverie. The Equalizer from Rebel not going to hit too many people there. And looks like 2-1's just going to be able to back out of that one. Lots of cooldowns to use there from POHO Pimps.
Man,
but they will just push on.
That was definitely a fireworks show. We had a lot of stuff blown and not a lot happening, but the poke here potential from POHO Pimps is pretty extreme. They might even be able to force this tower down just from pure poke alone, and the advantage that Kha'Zix and Ezreal leading right now.
Yeah, and they're really just pushing up at this, and they do have the top lane that they can go to. Looks like they will be going there. They also have bottom lane pushing up, so it's really smart though. Just seeing that they're starting to push up, we can go for, you know, mid lane. We can push up mid lane and try to put pressure onto the tower as the silence push and just completely distract the team of 2-1, and they will be heading up top lane as the full 5 to push down onto this top inner tower.
Yes, so we might have another advantageous fight here from here. They're all grouped up. 2-1 has so much AoE, and now POHO Pimps is gonna have to run. We have the engage coming from Riven almost, but they're a little bit scared. Rightfully so.
Yeah, they're taking a lot of damage back, and the thing is, they have to be really careful because it's going to be poke coming off from Ezreal to blue Ezreal, this one coming off from Kha'Zix, and they are chasing out onto this one. Zin's actually flashing over the wall, getting the knock over to so many people, but Leona is taken out so quickly by the Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix goes and gets over the wall. The crescendo coming out from Sona, hitting so many people, and there's Ezreal and Kha'Zix over the wall, just completely taking down people. Double kill coming out for his Kha'Zix. He will be taken out. He does pick up that triple kill, but Caitlyn picking up the kill. Now chasing on to Caitlyn. Slows coming out. Let's see if they can get onto her. They're fairly high health. There's the dead fight coming out from Nas. That's for sure a dead Caitlyn there.
That is a dead Caitlyn. Yeah.
POHO Pimps getting that. POHO Pimps winning off that team fight there. And that was actually, it's a lot of these support AoE CCs. That was a great crescendo coming off from Sona in that fight. And they had Ezreal and Kha'Zix leap over the wall. They're like, okay, we're gonna get out of this. We're gonna get out of this team fight. They went over the wall and they really put out damage from behind that wall. And it's just great crescendo coming off from Sona.
The flash initiate from Zhao maybe was a little bit late. Leona was getting kited down, and by the time he initiated, she was already very low. So you saw the crescendo. It hit like 4 people, and that was GG for that fight.
Yeah.
And as for Caitlyn, she was dead, and she blew barrier, I think.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did. She blew barrier.
Oh, that's okay. So, again, they're sparing up, and I don't know if POHO Pimps are going to really push for it, but I think it was more just a baiting factor.
There's 3,600 gold on this edge. I really think he wants it back right now, but he's gonna go and pick up these red buffs. Picked up one down at bottom, or on the other side of the jungle earlier, and now we'll pick one up for himself here. This Kaz is just building up these items. Actually has 4 items complete already, plus boots. Has a Bloodthirster, Black Cleaver, Last Whisper, as well as the Mirror Mana. He is just completely ahead. And Last Whisper coming off for this Ezreal, so no huge damage items coming off yet, although that Last Whisper is able to provide quite a bit, of course, with the armor shred and whatnot.
Yeah, definitely. We have such great ward coverage on Baron, though, that I really think POHO Pimps is going to mess with it some more. They've had a lot of success using that as bait, and they're obviously keeping it warded for something.
Actually, we're seeing Ezreal going for the BF, so it's most likely that Bloodthirster coming out for him. Going a little bit of a different approach to the blue build there. Just throwing in a bit of red. The Bloodthirst, of course, is a great item, gives them sustain as well as more damage. And actually, mid lane, Vremo sort of baiting out people, putting off the equalizer a little bit to the side, but it looks to be going in. There is a solar fight coming down. Leona gets in there with the Zenith Blade. They're going really far out onto this one. Vremo will be taken down. Akali picking that one up. Now jumping over to the Kha'Zix here, trying to take him out. Nice Zenith Blade going off onto Kha'Zix. He's going to be leaving right behind, right on top of that Caitlyn, but Caitlyn picks up the kill. Riv was in to help around. Now they're going for Nas. Nas going down, and this game is just going completely back and forth.
This is an excellent turnaround for 2-1. You know, this is what we were talking about. If they get a good initiate and they win a team fight, it can put you easily back in the game. I know they're down their turrets, but they've still got their inhibitor. POHO Pimps wasn't able to take that out, and now they have the entire map to cover and push back the lanes to return that initiative.
Yeah, so they're just playing this one so, like, this game is just going completely back and forth for these teams. For one fight we're seeing Guan do really well, for the other fight we're seeing POHO Pimps do really well, and it's just going so back and forth. But the thing is, there are 6 towers on the side of POHO Pimps. There's 3 on Guan Gaming. There is still the gold lead slightly in favor of POHO Pimps, about 5,000 gold. It's not too big of a difference when it comes into the 34-minute game here, and it's really amazing to see that Guan Gaming still able to find these pickups even with how many items they're down. Like, if you just compare the builds that are coming up, like looking at these supports, there's already 2 items finished on the Sona. Leona has not even finished up that bulwark just yet, and I think it's absolutely crazy how they're still able to pick people off. She goes for a Warmog Diamond. What do you think of that pickup?
Yeah, I don't know about the Warmogs. I mean, I understand that they might need to be a little bit tankier, but I think that they also need damage. That being said, they're winning team fights, so I can't really speak to that. If they're able to close the gap a little bit better, that'd be great, but I think that she could have picked up O'Reilly's Scepter instead. They have Locket, they have, the tankiness of Riven, and the tankiness of Xin Zhao, who should be finishing up a Randuin's, I believe.
Yep, so that's Dragon did go down. They were able to pick that one up. Oracle's Elixir, bought by Leona here, of course. Great item to just hold that vision control. Probably want to head over to Baron because there's quite a few wards there. Also, there's an Oracle's on the Sona, I do believe. So just those vision wards coming in, of course, when we get into this late stage of the game. Really want to control the map using the vision and whatnot. And so Leandri's tournament finished up on this Rumblia. Also has a Rise Crystal Scepter. Slows great for him. He just has so much slow with that item. It's absolutely crazy how he's able to get that off. And it looks like they're going to be pushing down onto this mid lane. Last outer tower or inner tower to pick up here. And they'll most likely just be able to push this one down. It's about a half health, so I guess we'll see how this one goes. Because we've seen team fights won by both teams. Riven going in for the engage, really putting off the CC onto everybody here. Shirley's Riven coming out solo for not able to hit everybody. Equalizer comes down nice crescendo, keeping everyone in that equalizer. And now they're diving in onto that one. Sonya was taken out by Xin Zhao. Nas is coming in front of the backline, trying to go for the Caitlyn. Riven and Caitlyn were taken down. Nas picking up Caitlyn. Kaz going down Oh man, never mind. So they're going to be going back in. Double kill coming off from Kha'Zix. Now going for Akali. However, she does throw out the shot. She was able to pick up the double kill herself. A little bit of a messy team right there. Nas is actually able to finish off Caitlyn. And there's actually pings going on to the space because this inhibitor, there's 2 siege creeps in this wave here and a lot more of other minions. And looks like the inhibitor is going to be going down.
Man, yeah, that was dangerous engage. I know that Riven engaged possibly because Nautilus was missing, but their team wasn't really in a position, granted that all the lanes were pushing so hard. It was a really good fight, definitely. They split up a little bit, and it cost them Caitlyn, and that was really important to that team fight. It may be a factor as to why they came out roughly even.
Yeah, and the equalizer came out, and Sona just threw off the crescendo, and it just kept 2 people in that equalizer, and they just got completely burned down by that. Nellis came out from behind. I don't think they were really expecting a Nas to appear, and he just took out that Caitlyn. He was tanking 3 people. He's so tanky right now, able to take out Caitlyn. You know, he had enough damage for that, and just able to win on another team fight, pick up another tower as well as those creeps, able to push out an inhibitor. And you know, Baron is definitely, you know, maybe they'll go for Baron again. So not too sure if they gotten over the trauma of losing a team fight over at Baron with how ahead they were. But you know, they'll have these Stallions pushing up. All the creeps, all the minions have extra health. So we'll be seeing how it goes. There's a Bloodthirster being picked up for this Ezreal. So that's actually his last non-boot item. And Ezreal actually has not picked up tier 2 boots just yet.
Man, yeah, so the ward coverage coming off from POHO Pimps is what is going to help them win this game and finish it off. They've got to keep pressure. With that top inhibitor down, they need to get another inhibitor down. Like, that's just a fact of it. If they keep jungling, then there's going to be an opportunity to go on to get a good team fight in. But with the ward coverage that they've got going down, it shouldn't be a problem for them to push down mid and take out that second inhibitor.
Yeah, so it looks like this clearing out minions on Barons and just pushing up these lanes. Got to keep those lanes going with the pressure. Guardian Digital picked up on his cause. That's just gonna be terrifying in team fights. He's gonna take him down. Nope, he has a second life to just burst you down once again. There's also the Guardian Angel coming off for Riven, but you know the thing is, there's nobody that's going for the front line here. Of course, now it's going to be the front line for POHO Pimps, but Tukwon Gaming you don't have any champion that's really built for that. Akali is going to be an assassin. Riven that's built for the damage because she was able to get so many kills. Of course, you want to go for the damage when you have so many kills. You'll be able to carry with that. Xin Zhao just is going for himself though. However, he's not picking up too many personal tank items. He has a lock of the Iron Solari. Doesn't give too much health. There's more of the team-oriented item. And he also has that Randu and Zoman, which is to dive out onto people and throw off that slow, but he's just getting bursted down right now. And of course, he's going to be going into Kha'Zix. It's just ripping people to shreds, 13-4. Looks like they want to go down to this bottom lane. They're just taking control of this jungle, picking up all these buffs, double buffs coming out. But actually, the Equalizer coming down, going for this solo fight coming off. There's this that's out. Gonna get taken out. Kha'Zix picking up that kill, and this is just gonna be more push coming off of POHO Pimps right now.
Yeah, so it definitely Xin Zhao got caught out there, and Tuan is gonna have a hard time fighting this off. It's just because POHO Pimps is so powerful at the moment, and
oh, there's Crescendo coming down. They will be diving in onto this one right into that tower, picking up Leona really easily. Rumble gonna be able to survive there, such a low health. Advantage gonna be popped on that Riven as well as that Caitlyn. They won't be able to get out of this one. That Riven is solo, actually able to pick up the Rumble, and she might be able to escape from this one, but nope, Kha'Zix leaps right on top of her. Picks up Dredge going up onto Akali. Akali is surely gonna be going down, getting to that stealth, but oh nope, she'll be able to get on the fountain and heal up. Meanwhile, Caitlyn went down, Ezreal picking up that kill, and this should just be a push for the win coming off from POHO Pimps.
Yeah, definitely well played. That last catch, Xin Zhao in the jungle, was a GG, I believe. I'm sorry, a little bit early, but the lead was just too much on POHO Pimps, and they were able to push instead of falling for something like Baron. They were pushed to win, and that's how they did it.
Yep, and there's going to be GG well played coming off in chat. So the first game of this round going to be going over to the side of POHO Pimps, and they will be able to pick up that victory. So if they win the next game, they will be able to go and progress on into this tournament. However, could potentially be seeing 3 games come out because this tournament is definitely coming off a lot different from the Season 1 tournament. Season 1 tournament being completely all 2-0s from every single round. But I believe there was a 2-1 or 1-2 this the last round for this series. So definitely some
Definitely.
close games coming in here.
Definitely so. So we'll take just a short break here and we will get into game 2 of this awesome match. and we are into game number 2 of this exciting match.
Yep, this is the Lower Rising Stars Series Season 2 tournament with the match between Tuguan Gaming and POHO Pimps. I do believe they have switched over the side, so POHO Pimps gonna be the blue team, Tuguan gonna be the red team for this game. The series is at game 2 here. Tuguan Gaming taking POHO Pimps taking game 1, and with a really nice performance coming out from last game.
Definitely. We're going to look to see if POHO Pimps can carry through with that. They are on the blue side, so they're supposed to have an easier time this time. I'd be interested to see if we see something interesting happen, like a lane swap, perhaps?
I could potentially see that, but looking over at these bans coming out, Shen Cho'Gath and Thresh banned out from POHO Pimps, as well as Tuguan Gaming out, taking out the Jace, the Blitzwing, and the Nautilus. So taking out that Nautilus, we did see that Nautilus being played last game, and whoever played the last game, which I'll be finding out right now, is just really, really strong in it. It was Ando Prime, the jungler. He played such a great Nautilus, and it's another Kha'Zix. They first picked that Kha'Zix, and they played Kha'Zix last game as well on the side of POHO Pimps, and they absolutely wrecked with that.
Definitely. I'm a little bit surprised it wasn't banned, but understandable.
Yeah, it looks like another Sona pick. So looking to take that away, this is also a champion that was played last game. Is actually played by SG Kittens, which was the support for the other team. So looks like Tuguan Gaming potentially picking this one up. But going back over the Kaz is just such a strong champion. And the last game, there was really back and forth. I mean, both teams were able to take advantages from different things that were happening. And I guess we'll see if it carries over to this game, because both of these teams, they definitely appear very strong. And to get over to this tournament, out of, I'm not even sure how many teams do we have. How many teams do we have for LRSS?
We have over 50 active teams, actually. Wow. But we just had the top 12 for qualifiers and the top 8 in the tournament. And I think you are completely right. They took Sona here. She was such a game-changing factor in all of those fights. So we'll see if Safasan can follow up with those same types of ultimates.
Yeah, just also the Malphite being picked up here. Malphite just absolutely scary. He's such a strong top lane champion. It's good for him to have armor. He could potentially be going mid lane versus the Kha'Zix. It's actually a really nice pick versus Kha'Zix, because naturally he's going to be wanting to build up armor. And of course he has absolutely amazing teamfight potential. Of course with this on top of force. But these two picks actually coming off from POHO Pimps here might be to counteract that. We're seeing the Janna and the Maokai locked in.
Yeah, and Janna is an interesting pick. It'll really depend on what AD carry they pick up. Maybe MF, but the sustain from Sona and the passiveness of Janna is just going to make it, once again, kind of like a farm lane. So I don't know about Kha'Zix, but he might not be roaming. He'll probably be roaming bottom a lot to try and make something happen.
Yeah, and Janna and Maokai just able to give off so much defense for themselves. Of course, Janna has the disengage coming off for tornadoes and her monsoon, her ultimate, and then she can heal people in AoE, and then Maokai can throw it on his own ultimate, and it reduces damage on his allies on people in AoE. So we'll be seeing how this one works out, because it's a pretty nice team coming off for them. So next two picks coming off, Tuguan Gaming gonna be picking up Annie as well as Zinzao. Zinzao was played by Gatorwire last game. We're seeing him pick it up once again. I guess he's going for another try at that. Also, this Annie, really interesting. She was played also like once by Prawley, and it was actually really amusing to see her. But she definitely can be a strong champion.
Yeah, kind of an interesting pick. Well, definitely an interesting pick, because Kha'Zix just has that gap closer, and he is so good at getting the reset. So it's almost like an offering. Like, Annie, would you like to reset off, or would you like me to be your reset partner?
Yeah. And looks like Orianna and Caitlyn, once again another Caitlyn being picked up. There's a lot of repeat champions coming in. Of course, there was an Ezreal last time on Liquefied. This time it's going to be Caitlyn playing her out. So that's actually going to be a top lane Kha'Zix and a mid lane Orianna, and I'm really interested to see how this one goes, because I don't think that sending Orianna, I don't think sending Kha'Zix top is going to be as effective as Kha'Zix in the mid lane was.
Yeah, no, I was really expecting some roams. I mean, Orianna can roam too, but Kha'Zix just is so powerful. So I also think by sending Orianna mid and letting Annie have a fair fight, she might become a lot more dangerous. But we could always see Kha'Zix roam mid a little bit against Malphite. That might help out quite a bit. Otherwise, everyone's just going to stick to the lanes, and I think it's going to be a pretty safe first 20 minutes of the game.
Yeah, and I'll be interested to see if they actually switch around this Kha'Zix and who they'll switch it to, because last time was Apollo playing the Kha'Zix going mid lane, and he played a really nice Kha'Zix, but looks like they're handing it over to Vaporize, which was the top laner. And I guess we'll be seeing if he can live up to Apollo's Kha'Zix, because we do have Apollo going for this Orianna. And, definitely this Orianna pickup does synergize pretty well with the team, because Maokai, he has Twisted Advance. You can throw down the Orianna ball on the Maokai, you can throw it down on Kha'Zix, and then you can get the Shockwave going off, and it can go off on a lot of people. So I guess we'll be seeing how this one goes out, but there's a lot of heavy initiates coming out for a lot of these teams, because the last pick here was Varus. Varus being paired up with Sona, it's another nice bottom lane, especially Sona is just such a versatile support. She has good team fight, she has good poke, she has good sustain in lane. And with Kha'Zix, not with Kha'Zix, with Varus has the poke. He also has quite a bit of damage coming off from his Blighted Quiver, and he also has nice CC with the snare that he can have.
Yeah, and I want to rescind what I said a little bit about bottom lane. That Varus and Sona combo, when they hit 6, the CC is just so heavy that I'm sure they're going to be able to make something happen. It's an amazing combination if you chain those CCs one over the other, and with that sustain, I think that they're going to have constant opportunities to go against Caitlyn and Janna, so that might be a little more exciting for us in the bottom lane. I know that we have Xin Zhao picked up here again, and we didn't see a lot of early ganks from him. So I'm really hoping that we might see something early, maybe like a, let's say, blue to red and then gank top to help Malphite get a good head start and shut down on Kha'Zix. So, some of the other things I thought I would talk about is this is the LoL Rising Stars Series tournament. It is the end of Season 2 for us, and we have picked the top 8 teams from our selection, and they will be facing off against each other for the chance to scrim the legendary Cloud9 or Velocity Esports. They actually get to take their pick if they're first place, and they'll get to scrim those folks next week on Sunday. Definitely something you don't want to miss, so if you're interested, subscribe to our main channel, this one, or LRSS0 on Twitch, and if you want to be there, it'll be excellent fun. You can always drop into the LRSS chat room in League of Legends, and we're quite a friendly community, so we're definitely looking forward to seeing you guys here.
Yeah, and obviously there's going to be some great games coming out from these guys. Last game, this could get pretty close. Looking over at some of the spells, there is the teleport coming out from that Malphite. Last game we saw that teleport coming out from Riven, and she was able to use it to somewhat of a good effect. We only saw one teleport getting really coming off that went into her favor. But Malphite, I think, could definitely change it up, because Malphite has that heavy engage. And he's definitely going to be a lot more of a passive laner, so I think it's a smarter pickup to have that teleport coming off onto that Malphite. And we'll most likely see that put into a bit of a better use just because of the really heavy CC that comes in form of the Unstoppable Force. And really just wherever he goes, if he goes mid lane, and he can throw off a stun. If he goes down the bottom, and this can be a snare from Varus and a stun from Sona, it can be great. So he has the team that can set him up for these kills. And especially when we get into teamfights, there's just so much CC coming out from 2-1 Gaming here. But POHO Pimps can definitely reciprocate that. They have a Janna, they have a Maokai, they have good defensive AoE abilities here. Just having that Maokai and it'll just add on the Aegis of the Legion, it's going to be great. It's just really absolutely nice, as well as having the Monsoon that can come out of Janice. So I guess we'll be seeing how these fights turn out, but these are really strong team-fighting teams.
Yeah, I realize that we have such a strong AoE combination between the Sona. We have Sona, Varus, Malphite, Annie, Xin Zhao. It's just going to be a heap of CC, a piling heap of CC. So hopefully POHO Pimps are able to push the laning phase in their favor so that they don't have to deal with quite that monstrous setup.
Yep. So looking over at these, I'm gonna ask the same question as I did last time. Do you think there's gonna be any level one invades coming out at all? Last game was a little bit more passive. Do you think that'll be coming out in this game?
You know, that's a pretty good question. We have some really squishy characters on both sides, but we also have CC Master Maokai. We have the strong tornado or shield coming off of Janna, and the traps from Caitlyn. I personally think that both these teams will play it safe, but if there were to be an invade, I believe it would again be the blue side onto the purple side.
Yeah.
Definitely. Malphite and Zinzao are. They've got something to contribute, but Annie is just a squishy little doll.
Yeah, well, it depends on what Annie decides to go for first, because she does go for AoE. She can have an AoE stun, but that's only one stun for a team. That's also a very short-ranged cone skill shot kind of thing. So I guess we'll see how that goes off. But also looking over at the team for POHO Pimps, I just noticed that they actually have a lot of ways to get vision. Caitlyn has traps early, or get vision early. Caitlyn has traps. Maokai will have his saplings. Orianna has her ball, so they're gonna have a really nice defensive start for themselves, I think. Because Maokai is kind of the way he starts in the jungle. I'm not too sure how he's gonna be doing it now, just because I haven't seen him play recently. But season 1, season 2, he just stacks up saplings on somewhere, and then he gets like a very early. He just gets very early, like a very early raid camp. So I'm really not too sure how it goes down in season 3 though, because those jungle changes, I haven't seen him play too often.
Yeah, definitely. But we haven't seen a lot of Maokai, so
Yeah.
definitely interested to see that. It'll be great to perfect from some of the AoE damage that they've got, but I really don't think that it will be enough. So they'll just have to play team fights very carefully for POHO Pimps to not fall into that CC trap.
Yeah, so looks like everyone's about loaded in here. Just gonna be taking a little bit for me to get loaded in, I think, because everyone's loaded in. So I'm just now we're loaded in. Surprisingly enough, we're not seeing Janna go with the with those extra items. She actually didn't go for the extra gold masters either for masters. So that's pretty interesting. I was seeing Caitlyn starting off with the long sword, not going for Doran's Blade side is also a very interesting thing coming out for her. She doesn't have any lifesteal runes or masters or anything like that, so possibly that's why not going for that early Doran's Blade. However, Varus does pick up a Doran's Blade for himself, so just seeing different builds coming off, and I guess we'll see how this does play out for these guys. It looks like Malphite setting off with Cloth Armor, very standard for him. Andy, though, starting off with boots is really interesting. Very season 2 right there. I guess she doesn't feel like she needs a mana regen. I'm really not too sure those boots pick up, though.
Yeah, the boots pickup is kind of antiquated. There's just too many sustain options. You'll notice Orianna had to pick up a ton of potions, a ward, and a fairy charm, the same start as a couple other members on the team. And that's just because it's become a sustain fest here in Season 2. Something else interesting, you'll notice Janna actually didn't go with utility mastery. So they'll be looking to do golems, of course, to get that head start, but I'm not sure if she went maybe the little tankier route, which might help the laning phase survival just a little bit.
Yeah, that's a really surprising pickup for her. They just go for this for no extra gold, none of the starting items that you could possibly get for free, which are really useful. Like the Total Biscuit Rejuvenation gives, it's like an extra potion, and the Explorer Ward, 60-second ward. It's such a nice item to have. So I'm really interested to see this come out for this Janna. I guess we'll see how this plays out for her.
Yeah, and actually they didn't pick up golems, which is a little bit surprising. So right away giving up that early advantage. They're not going to have that level 2, which I think they would have needed to get a head start on the sustain that Sona is going to have. If we take a look here, I believe Sona did start, but did not charge up, once again, her Q. Usually players stand in base and charge that up to get some free early harass, but maybe not this time. So they might not be looking to harass very much at all. Just kind of play it safe.
Yeah, and actually, Annie started off with the Q, which is a very nice tool for lasting. For one thing, it's really easy to last it with this with that ability there. And what happens is that when you kill a unit with it, then you get the mana back. So it's pretty much it's like an auto attack that's on the cooldown, but you can, but it does more damage pretty much for her. As long as she kills the unit.
Yeah, and
so she can last it really easily.
It's a great way to last hit, and that might be a part of her plan, just going with boots, because why get a fairy charm if you've got an infinite smite?
Yeah. And the thing is, she is taking quite a bit of damage already from this Oriana. Oriana just using the ball to really put down the harass here. And, obviously just really trying to start for her. Looking over at this top lane here, 4-10 Malphite favoring the CS right here, and once again, I'm just really surprised that they decided to go for Kha'Zix's top lane after seeing this Malphite picked up. Just Malphite's such a strong champion, especially versus ADs. And actually, mid lane, Xin Zhao coming in here for the gank, has lots of damage coming off, the knockup flashing in there. First blood coming off, Andy picking that one up, had the stun to go out, flash, got in there, ignite. Just early gank from Xin Zhao is really effective.
Yeah, man, really great that Annie got this kind of head start on Oriana. Oriana can be a safe late game farmer, so with Annie you really want to find a punch that you can pack really early on. Meanwhile at top, I guess we've got some deep wards going in because Maokai has showed up. It really depends on how long he's going to wait there, because I don't know that they can combat the tankiness of Malphite, even if he is just level 3. So, bottom lane, we have the sustain game going on and some minimal harass coming out. I'm not quite sure that we're getting very synchronized plays here from POHO Pimps, though. They seem to get some shields off, but they're not really being utilized to harass the enemy AD carry. And that might start to hurt them, especially as Sona's sustain starts to build up.
Yeah, and they're just kind of getting this farm phase going on. Looks like up in top lane, Maokai was trying to do something, or he is still trying to do something. Sitting up in this top lane brush, seeing what he can do. I'm really unsure if they actually can really get anything off, because the lane is actually going quite even. But they he really wants to get this gank off onto Malphite. It looks like, oh, there it is. It's gonna be going in right on top of that Malphite, getting the knockback onto him. But Malphite is pretty tanky. He might actually still be able to get out of this one, and probably Maokai you really don't want to use that twisted advance, especially when you're like an inch away from them. That twisted advance is such a strong chasing tool, but he used it to initiate. Probably not the best. They were able to cause that Malphite to back though, but they wasn't too hard of an effective gank. There wasn't any flashes burned. They didn't use any there was no summoners burn. No summoners burn from anybody really, so I guess that's fine.
Well,
but there's the teleport coming off from Malphite. Yeah, so he can just get right back to that lane. Now he has the Dorn shield. He's gonna have more armor, more health, more sustain for himself. It's really nice.
Yeah, definitely. A little bit surprised there wasn't an AP top pick here against that Malphite, but it might hang tight. So I'm assuming, based on what he's building, that he might be going a little tankier.
Mid lane gank coming off. Maokai getting onto this tower here. He actually takes lots of damage in return from that one. That could have been disastrous for him. And he had that stun up. You really have to be careful where you go with that twisted advance there, just because you follow that champion wherever you go. So if Andy had that stun up there, he would definitely, most likely, probably would have gone down to tower shots.
Definitely, most likely, probably, I agree.
Yeah.
So, we just have the typical thing going on at bottom. Again, we have 2-on slightly, I think, out-farming POHO Pimps, but they're keeping their harass down pretty well. The thing I'm afraid of is as soon as Sona and Varus hit 6, they have that wombo combo effect. If they just lay down that CC, like if they turn 6er pretty soon, Caitlyn is going to be dead if she sticks around with health like that.
Yep, so looks like Iron's even picked up here, tier the guys. Of course, from Kha'Zix, just really, I don't think, he doesn't even have to go for damage at this point, because he's not going to be doing anything to this Malphite. He's just going to be taking it up through. I really think this top lane is just going to be an absolute farm fest unless the junglers interfere, or Kha'Zix decides to roam, or Malphite decides to teleport gank. Otherwise, they're just going to stay up top. I mean, like, Malphite's fine. He's super tanky, and Kha'Zix just can't do anything, because it's a Malphite he's laning against. And no matter how many times he just puts off harass, the shield's going to come back up for the Malphite. And just Kha'Zix is just not in a good place at all in this lane. And looks like bottom lane, Janet going aggressive. Tourney does come off onto Varus. There is the exhaust, however, coming off from Sona. Looks like Varus will be able to live here, but Maokai actually came in here, throwing off a sapling.
Wow, yeah.
I think I'm going to go back. Why is he proccing the sapling? Okay, well, he's
That's
I
okay.
want to see, like, are they gonna go back or not? Looks like Sona is. Looks like Varus just wants to chill out in lane though.
Yeah, and meanwhile, mid lane, Annie got a beautiful combo off on Orianna, and I believe she even blew Ignite. Unfortunately, it was not enough. Orianna got that shield off and lived. So she'll be down that summoner. It's so even on farm that that might be a hindrance when it comes here to her later laning phase.
Oh yeah, I did have to use that flash, so that won't be there if she needs to escape from another Zhao gank. And actually down bottom lane, really scary move, and there's the Ace Null coming up. Barrier used by Varus when someone went to block it, so a little bit of miscommunication there, no barrier now on that Varus. And they'll be able to, I guess we'll have Jan and Kim be able to engage with that barrier down.
Yeah, no, and I think that...
No, actually, top lane flashing from Xin Zhao, throwing off the dash onto the Kha'Zix. However, Kha'Zix has his ultimate going to get that stealth in there. Use the flash a little bit at the end. I'm not too sure that was needed too much, but 2 flashes burnt from that gank. 1 on Kha'Zix, 1 on Xin Zhao. So pretty much, I guess, even trade.
Yeah, and we have the same thing going on mid, even trades all around. I did notice that Melthags and Safisan, they kind of gave up their opportunity to use that level 6 surprise because they were taken down so low by Janna and Caitlyn in POHO. So maybe when they come back to lane, we might see something happen here. It is about time to deal with Dragon, and we do have a pink coming off from Kittens, so it would be awesome if they could take a fight, roam mid a little bit here from Orianna, and perhaps pick up a Dragon.
Yeah, just walking right into each other, seeing what they can do. But it looks like they'll just go back to standard laning phase, because it's like another late Dragon coming out for these guys. They did have a first, but a little bit earlier than last game. I'm not too sure. They might. Cannot remember. But this once again a little bit more of the passive game. They're not going for too many objectives. There weren't any lane swaps, so they didn't push on any towers. They didn't go for buff steals or dragons or anything. These two teams just really like to play these laning phases. And I'll be really interested to see how they go on through this tournament with just how passive they are. I mean, obviously other teams won't have the same style. But they're just playing so passive right now, just keeping to these lanes. They just want to farm it up. The junglers are not having too much effect. They're really just trying to farm it up here. And it's just, I'm really just surprised with how people, like, teams are just going for a lot more. Like, nowadays teams are just going for a straight up aggression. They want the lane swap, they want to go for early dragons, they want to go for early towers, they want to go for buff steals, they want to go for level 1s, but these two teams just taking a lot more relaxed game for themselves.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like it might be because I believe North America originated with this slower playstyle.
Oh, actually, bottom lane, Flash Crescendo and the snare coming off here. They're actually exploding onto this bottom lane here. Jan getting taken out so low. There's Altek to finish off that Janna. I think it was really smart of them. They just like left that Janna there because they knew it was one more auto attack, and they started attacking onto that Caitlyn. But anyways, Jan does go down mid lane, gank coming off there from the Maokai. There's a shockwave coming off from Orianna. Tib is actually being summoned by Annie, bursting down Orianna. The ignite goes down and looks like flash away from Annie. She'll be able to escape from there. Getting taken down low herself, but that's just the burst potential coming out from Annie.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it looks like with that fight bottom lane, they kind of got caught out just a little bit. Janna tried to ult to save herself, but the thing is, Janna saw it flash up, so instead of flashing, off defensively, she also could have had the potential to flash and then ult one of the members back, but now that the turret's gone, I don't think we'll be seeing much of that.
Yeah, with that turret gone, just gives more advantage over to the side of Tugon Gaming. Looks like really early Abyssal Scepter being picked up by this Annie here. Interesting start for her. Just want to see that magic resist in there, as well as having that ability power. But that's a really interesting start for the first item for her. Just going for the sort of defensive, sort of aggressive item.
Yeah, I'd agree, especially because Orianna isn't doing too terribly well quite yet. But it might be a prediction. She might be seeing, oh well, this Orianna is pretty skilled, so she's probably gonna get fed later.
And I think it's there's also quite a lot of magic damage coming off of Varus as well as Sona, and there's obviously a lot of magic damage coming off of Malphite. So it could mean that they potentially want to go for a team fight. I'm not too entirely sure if they really want it, just because how passive they've been playing. But Obviously, yeah, it's just a really nice team fight item because it reduces the MR of the enemy team. So it's a nice item if they go for the fights, but just in terms of laning, I don't think she'll be able to put it to too much use.
Yeah, and it might be a signal that they're looking to push that dragon, because after obtaining that bottom tower, as long as they're able to get that pink that Sona has onto dragon, it should be fairly easy for them to take the next opportunity that Maokai is top and turn it into a free dragon money reward time. So after they push up here, it looks like we might see something of that. As far as the top lane goes, it's really just a tank and farm and prepare for later team fights fest. Pretty standard builds on everybody. I was hoping Malphite might go AP, but alas, no, they need a tank. So somebody has to fill that role. Xin Zhao probably going to pick up a somewhat early Locket, which will be really good against Orianna's ultimate damage, as well as Kha'Zix's poke. So just a couple of items that they're working on finishing up. And in the meantime, we actually see maybe some dragon happening pretty soon. Some orb clearing going on, and hopefully that means we'll see a team fight.
Yeah, I mean, these two teams just have so much team potential. They've all hit level 6. They all have their ultimates. Actually, looks like top end. Nothing coming off. Xin Zhao really wants to shut down this Kha'Zix. No, the Insult Force coming off a little bit late there because Flash came out from Kha'Zix a little bit before that.
Whoa.
So no ultimate on that Malphite, but the Flash was burned from Kha'Zix.
Whoa, yeah, that was, wow, that was a little bit late of an ultimate, trying to follow up on that. I'm not sure that they had him, even if they caught him in that, but Kha'Zix is slightly ahead in farm, and so they're just going to torture him here, say, hey, you know, I'm going to hang out. You obviously don't have a ward, which is pretty dangerous, and hopefully they'll catch a kill on this to get another advantage for Xin Zhao.
And meanwhile, bottom lane just, they really want to go aggressive onto this bottom lane here. Sona and Varus LD. They're pretty much at equal CS. However, there's, of course, that one tower down, as well as the kill over from Varus, which is going to be putting him slightly ahead in the gold lead, about 5,000 gold ahead for him. Actually, it's quite a bit of gold ahead for him. And looks like Annie coming down bottom lane just to kill off or coming over to Dragon Pit just to kill off this ward. Really, just once again, they've gone back to this passive. It's like they're just waiting, like they're just like letting kills happen when they're ready to happen.
Definitely, and they need to push that advantage that they have around Dragon. I mean, they've had that pink ward, they've cleared out wards, they'd have multiple opportunities to do that. And I think they're strong enough to go into a team fight, especially with the Abyssal, as you said, that's such a team fight-oriented item. But instead, they're just going to farm. Varus picked up his Bloodthirster, which is more than an awesome opportunity to team fight because Caitlyn hasn't had that opportunity yet. So the four of them grouping up here, hopefully we'll head on down there and give it a shot. A little bit risky, but overall, as long as they stick to communication, they should be fine. So we have a beautiful ward there from Maokai. Saw it coming. Not going to help him take Dragon. And we might see a 3v3 as Orianna and Annie just kind of duel in the mid lane. It looks like they're going to back off, and I'm not quite sure why they're so scared because they've got a good advantage, but it's fine if they want to play it safe, so be it. I think that Sona and Varus and their team comp in general has such a strong late game that they'll be able to just wait it out.
Yeah, these teams just playing it so safe right now. They really just want to farm up and get the objectives and whatnot. And the thing is, when it comes to a team fight, Malphite does have that teleport, so we can teleport in. And just playing so passive, I really feel like it's gonna hurt them because they're 2 kills up, but the gold lead isn't that far off. It's about 1,500, so they're not really that ahead.
Yeah, you've got it right.
They just have to do something, really.
Yeah, and especially, I mean, when you think about the Malphite teleport, he hasn't used it in 20 minutes. That's a summer skill that's, I mean, except to come back to lane, that's more or less been wasted. So they had the opportunity to pull a couple, outnumbered team fights there and just decided not to. So instead, they might look to push down this tier 2 turret. That would be great, but some of the other lanes need to get to it, and we need to get those other towers down as well to start widening that gap and, really making that 2-kill lead an actual advantage and not just a number.
Yeah, and we do have Oriana kind of roaming around bottom lane, and looks like Xin Zhao once again up at top and really wanted to get this gank off onto the Kha'Zix, but Kha'Zix is having none of that. He still has not died at all, but losing quite a bit of seat. He's not even losing in CS actually, he's just about a few behind, which isn't too much at all. So it looks like in mid lane we're going to be seeing some grouping up here. And potentially going to be able to push down this tower, and looks like they will be able to, as it's going to get dropped pretty quickly.
Finally, yes, definitely a good opportunity for them, and maybe a team fight. Yes, no,
Nope.
please.
Nope, they have Caitlyn pushing down onto bottom and really applying pressure. Actually, this tower might be going down. Going to be able to make it 1-2 in the terms of towers, and just, once again, just close out that goal gap a little bit, but it's just the map control coming out of 2-1 Gaming is really strong right now. It's kind of just roaming around and moving as a team, because they do have those 2 kills lead. They have champions are a little bit ahead of the other counterparts, but really just passive gameplay coming up all around. Looks like top lane they'll be able to push up another tower here. So these are the objectives that they want to get rolling here. I think they've been like, okay, it's about to be 20 minutes. Let's just go ahead and push down these towers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they got that multiple kill lead, and then they kind of just sat, and you'll notice that Oriana has come back on farm, Caitlyn has come back on farm, and Kha'Zix is pretty even. So that 2-kill lead has more or less been nullified. I know there's still a gold gap, but a lot of them have been able to come back and farm and beat their opponents. So
yeah, but there's always just like those towers going down. That actually looks like a void staff from Annie. So picking up lots of, well, she has the magic reduction coming out there, and now she has the magic penetration there, or magic resist reduction on the team, and the magic penetration. So she's probably gonna be able to shred down people.
Yeah, and if they end up, if POHO Pimps ends up picking a Bulwark, that's going to be a really great item. But I don't know that there's a need to at the moment. The AP coming off of Tugon isn't that great. I know they have the Abyssal, but there's nothing special going on, so there's no reason to buy those heavy defensive items quite yet. So we might see some later benefit to that Void Staff. But for now, it's more or less even. I know that Oriana has her Athenes. It's really great farming item, but nothing really special at all going on. So as far as the AD carries go, hopefully we have a little bit more interesting time, because Caitlyn picked up the infamous IE, which is a lot more favorable on Caitlyn.
Oh, actually, Millie, jeez, the burst going off onto Oriana. The Ignite's gonna be take her down. Annie picking that one up, and looks like Kha'Zix is jumping right on top of her. Gonna be able to pick up that kill. Teleport coming off from Malphite, puts up the himself a force, but has found himself surrounded by 3 enemies from POHO Pimps. But Varus has showed up here, throwing off that snare, flashing out of there. No snare's gonna be coming off here. Flash over the wall from Maokai to get out, but he's getting slowed down. Potentially get taken out. Nice Jane also, but Xin Zhao gets in there and picks up the kill. There's Tornado coming off. Nice disengage coming off from Jane, but overall 2 for 1. Going in favor of 2-1 Gaming, and now looks like they're going to be heading over to Dragon.
Man, finally we saw that team fight happen, and Malphite teleported in a little late to help, but it was a great time to come in if he wanted to go ahead and help engage with Varus. And Varus was able to just completely rip apart, flash forward, and actually flash at the wrong time to pick up any of those kills, but still overall a great play on the part of Tugon. A little bit daring now.
Yeah, I think they're coming out of this shell and they're like, okay, we're finally ready to go for these kills here. Just Henny is just having that huge burst, and she absolutely melted that Oriana and Kha'Zix. Like, she was like, okay, Oriana's like, okay, I have Kha'Zix coming in for this gank, we're gonna take Annie out. Annie just doesn't even care, puts off Tibbers, just this massive damage to that Oriana, takes her out so quickly, and now it's a 2-1 Annie, and she's actually going for these cooldown boots here.
Wow, yeah, that is a little bit odd. Annie is just so much about that burst that Sorcerer Boots are a very common pickup. It synergizes pretty well with their kit and would really add that M-Pen, but perhaps saw that there was no Bulwark on the other team and picked up the cooldown boots? I'm not quite 100% sure on that one. But it's probably going to be okay, because she's getting pretty well farmed, getting towards fed. I don't know if I want to use that term yet.
Yeah.
But everybody's kind of doing the mid dance, where we mill about mid, and we might see a push down. I don't know that it's advantageous to Jawan to push mid, so to speak, right now, because the map control coming off from POHO Pimps is just so strong around that area. But if they were to push one of the side towers, like for example top, to defend their tower, then they might have a little bit easier time with that.
Yeah, they're starting to group up now to see what they can do. Actually going to be jumping onto Zinzao here. Andy threw out Tibbers, picked off that Jan and flash away. Zinzao able to lift through that one. So once again, just Annie bursting down somebody there. Looks like Kaz hanging around, throwing off those void spikes. Really want to get something off, especially because it's going to be 4v5 when they go ahead and fight here. So you're seeing POHO Pimps definitely disengaging. The crescendo coming off, the exhaust going off as well as the snare onto Cosby. He leaps over that wall, but I don't think really got it. That one, oh well.
Wow.
Leaping right onto him, almost went down for the void spikes.
Yeah, that was very well played. I can tell that Sona is really just wandering around looking for the perfect ultimate, because both of these teams need a way to initiate, and that was it. They caught Kha'Zix, and he had a beautiful jump out, but again, the escape from Zinzao, it was just too much. So we're living on the edge now, just a little bit. We're getting close to our full team fights as Annie roams around. Doesn't have her ultimate, so this 3v3 is a little bit dangerous, or 3v4. But I guess they're gonna push it down anyway.
Thing is, there's just, you know, these gradual pickups coming off from 2-on Gaming, and they're slowly just getting this advantage here, so not looking good for them. Not looking good for POHO Pimps, that is. Just, you know, losing out on all these kills, seeing a lot more grouping up here. There's just so much CC that can come out from 2-on Gaming that POHO Pimps they're really just, they really can't do anything because they're sort of just getting picked off and he's just bursting down people.
Yeah, and I think they might be a little bit too passive, so they probably can't win a full 5v5 at this point, especially because Malphite's so tanky and Annie is getting stronger and stronger. But if they keep their ward coverage good and they see an opportunity, just one person, as long as they can commit that second to initiating without hesitating, then I think they'd be easily able to pick off one and then win a 5v4. But the problem is that they see these opportunities and either they don't recognize them, like right now. There's an opportunity right now to kill Varus, but they're too scared. They don't want to go in on that. That's a ward, so they just kind of wander around and wait as opposed to going in on one of those. So we see Caitlyn pretty dangerous.
Oh wow,
here.
flashing it! Oh my gosh!
Wow, that burst was absolutely amazing.
That so many unnecessary ultimates there.
But yeah, but that initiate was definitely what I was looking for. Now, if only we could teach POHO Pimps to do that.
Yeah, that was just the flash stun coming off of Ricardo and Annie. And then the snare coming off from Varus is absolutely elected. I'm pretty sure they only needed that stun because there's kind of 4 people versus the 1.
Yeah.
Which was Caitlyn. Like, Unsolid Voice came off from Malphite and it was...
Yeah.
They used a lot of cooldowns, but it doesn't matter. I mean, they took out that AD carry, and now they're going on to Billy Crescendo coming out. Jan getting taken really low here. Maokai is in the center of everybody, though. And then it looks like they're actually flashing out for that one. Jan's trying to get in there, was picked up by the Varus. Now Orion still trying to chase after people here because Kaz has showed up, picks up Varus, taken out by Orion, and now Kaz is going ham. Gonna be able to pick up 2 kills there. 1 onto Annie, 1 onto the Sona. Now just gonna keep on chasing after this one. Maokai picks up the kill onto Zinzao. Now still chasing after. I don't think he'll be able to get onto Malphite. Malphite's a little bit too tanky. And looks like they'll just go ahead and get out of there.
Wow.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that definitely went south pretty fast. We had a really good initiate from Sona. They were having a great time chipping out Maokai, but as soon as Kha'Zix showed up, it was game over. So they really took too long with that, and I think they had a chance to get down Maokai, but he's just, I guess, a tad too tanky so far. So this mid push is a little bit dangerous. Everybody is coming back up here. The teleport is up. Or I'm sorry, Malphite's here at mid lane, and they don't have any wards. But I guess they're just kind of testing their patience in order to get that tower.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take away that tower. And that Kha'Zix, once again, you know, could potentially, be seeing that snowball Kha'Zix coming out. I'll say Vaporize can do this, have the same effect that Apollo did. But I guess we'll see how it keeps on progressing, just because of, you know, still the team for 2-on Gaming is still very strong. And the thing is, when it came down to that bottom lane push, is that you know, Annie had already used Tibbers, so she didn't have that AoE stun. Malphite and Solid Force is down, their snare is down. They just had that crescendo coming out from Sona, so they didn't have quite the effect that they could have in the future team fights, I think.
Yeah, no, they really need to wait. If they chain their ultimates, I mean, it's GG, but we haven't seen really any chaining, just kind of willy-nilly using it as they see fit. And it's going to be a problem. If they're able to get something off onto Kha'Zix in order to lock him down, then they're able to lock him down with the Varus ultimate, the Annie ultimate, you know, Malphite ultimate, Sona ultimate. But if they don't use it like that, then we're going to have big problems pretty soon.
So pause coming out here, not too sure for the reasons with that just yet. Looks like for other items, we can go ahead and look over at these item builds here. Kaz is just pretty much going standard, going with that last whisper first for the armor penetration there. Especially good against Malphite and Xin Zhao.
Great pick against Malphite.
I'm really surprised seeing Malphite go for that Warmog's armor first, not going for like the Sunfire cape or just any other armor. I'm even just going for that Warmog's armor, going for straight up health. It's a really interesting choice on him.
Yeah, I would agree, definitely, because right now Kha'Zix is shining, so something like Sunfire could have offered, you know, a more armor-based option, but he might have seen that last whisper coming. Health is a great combatant to stuff like that, but he's going to need to get tankier faster, or else this is going to become a problem, and so he's going to have to pick up something like Sunfires, Randuin's, Frozen Heart, you know, the typical type of items to combat this type of problem. I am a little bit impressed that we have a locket on Xin Zhao. I don't think it was planned, but the locket items are pretty good against reset champs if you're able to use them well enough. If we saw a second one come off, would be maybe even better, but I don't know that they'll be able to time them properly to protect against that Kha'Zix reset.
Yeah, and Kaz, of course, is going to be the tail. Looks like Maokai going for Aegis the Legion, which just synergizes very well with his ultimate, and giving bonus MR and armor to his allies, as well as having that ultimate there to give off to reduce the damage. So, okay. So, looks like other items being picked up here. Both AD carriers going for those static ships. However, Varus to go for the Bloodthirster. Killing one for the Infinity Edge. Mid laners here. Looks like I think it's on Holy Grail. Finish up for that Orianna. Now sort of building into... She has the Seeker's Arm Guard, but she's saving that one up. Looks like she's going for the Abyssal Scepter soon, as Annie already has that, as well as having the Void Staff. And most likely Radman's coming up next, as she does have the new singular drop. But I'm also interested to see that Sona actually won for the cooldown boost, so she's going for the boost really quickly and actually be running into Kha'Zix here, and looks like they just go ahead and walk away.
Yeah, and we should see a team fight pretty soon happening here, but interesting enough, we had both the AD carries pick up Static Shiv, and I know it can come down to personal preference, but Static Shiv is really, it's a push-based item. So I'd be interested to know if Caitlyn and Varus went with that because the other AD carry did, or if that was just personal preference and it happened to work out that way. Because it's a really, really great pushing item. And we see a little bit of an invade here coming off, but everybody is just way too scared. I think that it's even enough now that we could deal with a full team fight, and it would really depend on how well people played. But again, they are backing off, not quite prepared to do that, saying, hey, you know, POHO pimps were way too behind. We're just going to wait for somebody to get caught out.
Yeah, they're all just kind of going back, picking up items here and there, seeing what they can do, but it's just such a passive gameplay coming out, and you know, looks like we're going to be seeing, you know, lane pushes coming up, and then you're going to siege onto mid lane, and while they have the silence pushing, and then the other team, or like the other team will, and they'll team fight, or they'll just, you know, kind of split up and go for, you know, like lane pushing again. So you do see the lane pushes coming up here. Malphite's going up top, and of course he does have that teleport again to get back into the team fight. Looks like Xin Zhao, or Kha'Zix was down at bottom lane. Xin Zhao was going to replace him and push the lane back. And they're just really pushing up these lanes back and forth, and they're really just farming it up right now.
Yeah.
30 minutes into this game, and they're still playing really passively, even after, you know, a few kills coming off here and there, but it's just such a passive game.
Yeah, and we missed a couple good opportunities there for POHO Pimps to engage. We had a 4v3. They knew Xin Zhao was bottom. They knew Malphite was top. So they could have gotten teleported in on, but it still would have been a fairly even fight. So it's really coming down to POHO Pimps being very scared of engaging, just waiting to be engaged upon. And that is so dangerous, so very dangerous, especially when you have an AoE composition on the other team. When they engage, they're going to win the fight. I mean, that's just as simple as it gets. So,
yeah, so it looks like Aegis of the Legion being picked up for Maokai. Janet finishing up that Ruby site, so most likely going for that lockdown side. Just next, Oriana has picked up the Oracles for a team, so they're kind of walking around with that, and they do have to be careful because there's a lot of people coming out from 2-1 Gaming. Jay gonna step in the traffic, Kaz leaping onto him, taking on that Xin Zhao pretty low, but using his ultimate to get out of this one. Actually looks like Xin Zhao gonna keep on chasing Janetino, coming up not too much after that. Ace coming out from killing just to throw off that harass there. But looks like Varus took tank that one and will be just lifestealing to get the health back.
Yeah, and
actually, looks like Maokai really wants to get in there. Has the Oriana ball onto him, but not able to get close enough to members of POHO, or to members of 2-1 to start the team fight.
So we have top and bot pushing in opposite ways right now, so the teams are safe to team fight, and they shouldn't lose any of their outside towers. But again, with the initiating, we're just waiting around, waiting for someone to get ready to go in when Xin Zhao could go in, Sona could go in, we could have an ultimate come off with a stun from Maokai, and that would be a great way to get into a team fight that's advantageous for either team. But instead we're just more or less waiting around for someone to get caught, like Oriana almost was, just kind of poking around. So the other problem with this is there's excellent ward coverage on Baron on Tiguan's side. They've got a pink on it, and they could actually start it and bait it out, but instead it looks like they're going to get caught with Malphite, who's going to flash out and just kind of back off, which is slightly surprising, except Kha'Zix gets jump onto Varus, and man, that damage is good.
Yeah, they're going into here. Malphite taking lots of damage actually, but the lock-in comes off here. The Ignite's ticking down. And he gets in there with the stuns, ultimately being used by Maokai. But lots of members of 2-1 Gaming are fairly low. Your POHO Pimps can probably just keep on pushing because there's Crescendo down on Sona. There's Chain and Corruption down onto Varus. It looks like Varus is going back. They had to have Malphite go back. And it looks like Kai's going right over the wall. Picks up the kill onto Varus. Oriana Shockwave did come across. It looks like there is a Jane ultimate coming up, putting Sona in a very awkward position. There's a teleport in from Malphite, but Sona did go down. Meanwhile, Kaz was able to pick up the kill onto Xin Zhao. And POHO Pimps actually able to pick that one up in their favor. I think it was a 3-0 in their favor.
Yeah, and definitely. I mean, I'm really surprised with the AoE composition that they had. They had a good opportunity to defend, but just didn't quite play it right. Janna with that disengage, it's just too much. It's really put POHO Pimps back in the game. So this is a situation where Tiguan had a lead, and they had the opportunity to push that, but instead they really just wanted to passively farm, and as a result, they more or less given POHO Pimps the opportunity to make a comeback, and they might even be stronger here pretty soon if they keep letting that go on, just due to composition, their strong farming skills, Oriana, the good defense of Maokai from the AP, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, so POHO Pimps just, they did have that kill deficit, but they are, they say that, like, these abilities are being used and sort of wasted coming out from 2-1 Gaming here, and they're really taking advantage of that, and obviously that's really effective in team fights. Just when you see it, you're like, oh, well, that ultimate is 7 we can go ahead and go in, because that's Sona ultimate, that's just absolutely game-changing. There's no crescendo down, or the crescendo's down, they can go ahead and engage. So it's really smart for them to do that. But yeah, looks like this Dragon Tank going to be coming out. Looks like they're backing out. Looks like Kaz wants to get in onto this one. Jumping in there with a Crescendo going to be knocking him off. And he gets in there. Not able to do too much. Just snake going off onto Maokai. Kaz is still trying to go on into their Varus, throwing up auto attacks and piercing arrows. But Annie Ultimate's down now, as well as that Varus Chain of Corruption. And looks like we will just go ahead and keep on picking up that Dragon for POHO Pimps. Meanwhile, top lane, They do have that Malphite pushing up, which is kind of dangerous because there is no teleport left for him. Looks like that blue buff is gonna get taken. No, maybe not taken away, but Kazi jumping in there. Quick kill onto Varus, and even quicker kill onto that Sona. Now a kill onto the Zhao. So double kill coming off for Caitlyn, 1 kill for Kha'Zix, and they're gonna be able to pick up this inner tower. Meanwhile, top lane, Malphite's able to pick up that tower, but I'm pretty sure this trade is going much more in favor to go on, into POHO Pimps right now.
Yeah, and that was kind of a misplay. We have Kha'Zix jumping in here on Annie. A little She's taking turret damage, but Caitlyn is able to get her ultimate off and pick up that kill. The only thing is that Taekwon kind of threw that fight just a little bit. They went for Dragon. They knew they were outnumbered. They knew Malphite's teleport was down, and yet they wanted to force a fight with fewer numbers. So already we have the inhibitor going down as a result of that. It really just goes to show how one summoner skill can determine an entire fight.
Yeah, and it's just not Malphite. Kha'Zix is just leaping over and just picked up the kill so quickly, and just kept going and were able to take people out so quickly. And that's just Kha'Zix just being absolutely terrifying. And if this game does go into a game 3, I would think that a Kha'Zix ban come out, because we're seeing this Kha'Zix. It was last time it was played mid lane, now it's being played top lane, both by different summoners, and both of them are using it to really nice effect here, and they're actually going pretty much the exact same build pass that they want. Just, the Guardian's Angel, Last Whisper, Mirror, Mana, Black Fever, pretty much the same builds that both of these guys had for the Kha'Zixes. And looks like they're just kind of grouping up around Baron-ish now.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's that ward coverage that they're concerned about. I mean, they've got the pink down for POHO Pimps, and if POHO Pimps secured a Baron, that would be GG. But it's really dangerous right now, because if they lose a fight, they could have the same thing happen to the Him. They could lose an inhibitor. So they need to get better ward coverage around the map in general. And we actually see them going for Baron, and it's just bait without Annie, so maybe a little daring ahead of time there, but if we are able to group up here, we might see a really good chain of CC. We need to see, for example, a flash ultimate from Sona would be a great way to initiate, follow up with a Varus ultimate and Xin Zhao in the front line, and that would still give you Annie's stun, which you could even use for peel. So they have a really good team fight opportunity, and I haven't quite seen it used that way. More just defensively. We actually have a tank minion here following.
Oh, there's a crescendo coming up there. Teleports also comes off. Kha'Zix leaped in there. Can't pick the kill on the Sona. Double kill. Picking one off onto Annie. There's a leap over the wall going for Malphite. Malphite's a very large tanky rock, so I don't think they'll be able to get onto him, but 2 more quick kills coming off. Both of them going over to that Caitlyn, and Annie went down as well as Sona. Now let's go and push down onto this middle tower, and they're just going to go ahead and take it. Actually, it looks like they might be pressing onto these next towers and potentially going for the win. As they're getting on into this one, flash away from Zinzao. Barrier was used by that Varus ultimate, docking another hit from him. Now they're chasing after this one, but sort of a 3v5 here. They do have the towers to help him out, but this Varus is solo picked up by the Piltover Peacemaker there, right on the edge of this. And this is looking like they really want to push him for the end game right now. And they're really just going under this tower here. Malphite has his Maokai has his ultimate down, reducing damage. Xin Zhao's taken out, Caitlyn picking up that kill. Shockwave comes out from Orianna, takes out Malphite, and this is actually looking like game.
Wow, man, that a bit audacious of them to go straight for those double inhibitor towers, but they played it off beautifully. They've been dealing with the members spawning over and over, but I think they might get shredded here if Annie is able to play it right. And okay. No. That
next does go down. I'm not actually too sure who picked it up. I'm going to rewind really quickly to see who picks it up, but I believe that is the 2-0 POHO Pimps going to move on to the next round. Of course, it does mean that 2-1 Gaming going to be going over to the losers bracket, I believe.
Correct. You have got that right.
Yay! So I'm looking over at the end game here. I want to see who picked off this. Who picked up the last hit on the Nexus?
That would be awesome.
Oh, it was Caitlyn. It was Caitlyn. Caitlyn just stood there and just hit the Nexus while everyone else is fighting. Okay, there we go. So that is going to be game 2, and it's going to be 2-0 in favor of POHO Gaming, or POHO Pimps.
Yes, very well played. Close games, even though it ended up being 2-0, but altogether a great game to watch. So, if you are hanging tight, I'd say hang tight some more, because we got some more awesome games coming up in probably just about 10 minutes. We might drop the stream and come back, but we will bring you the next exciting game, and I will link the challenge bracket in the Twitch chat to the side, and that way you can follow along with us.